Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Nittai Gauranga Jayo Nittai Gauranga Nittai Gauranga Jayo Nittai Gauranga Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, text number 32. Please repeat after me. Mam hi partha vyapashritya Mam hi partha vyapashritya Yepi syu papayonayah Yepi syu papayonayah Striyo vaishyas tatha shudras Striyo vaishyas tatha shudras Tepi yanti param gatim Tepi yanti param gatim Mam hi partha vyapashritya Yepi syu papayonayah Striyo vaishyas tatha shudras Tepi yanti param gatim Mam hi partha vyapashritya Yepi syu papayonayah Striyo vaishyas tatha shudras Tepi yanti param gatim. Any Matajis? Mam hi partha vyapashritya Tepi syu papayonayah Striyo vaishyas tatha shudras Tepi yanti param gatim. One more? Nobody? Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syupapayonayah striyo vaishyas tatha shudras tepi yanti param gatim. Word to word translation. Please repeat after me. Mam, of me. He, certainly. Partha, O son of Prutha. Vyapashritya, particularly taking shelter. Ye, those who. Api, also. Syuhu, are. Papayonayaha, born of a lower family. Striya, women. Vaishyaha, mercantile people. Tata, also. Shudraha, lower class men. Te api, even they. Yanti, go. Param, to the supreme. Gatim, destination. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. O son of Prutha, those who take shelter in me, though they may be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. Purport. It is clearly declared here by the Supreme Lord that in devotional service there is no distinction between the lower and higher classes of people. In the material conception of life there are such divisions, but for a person engaged in transcendental devotional service to the Lord, there are not. Everyone is eligible for the supreme destination. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18, it is stated that even the lowest, who are called Chandalas, dog eaters, can be purified by association with a pure devotee. Therefore, devotional service and the guidance of a pure devotee are so strong that there is no discrimination between the lower and higher classes of men. Anyone can take to it. The most simple man taking shelter of the pure devotee can be purified by proper guidance. According to the different modes of material nature, men are classified in the modes of goodness. Brahmanas, the mode of passion. Kshatriyas or administrators, the mixed mode of passion and ignorance. Vaishyas or merchants, and the mode of ignorance. Shudras or workers. Those lower than them are called Chandalas, and they are born in sinful families. Generally, the association of those born in sinful families is not accepted by the higher classes. But the process of devotional service is so strong that the pure devotee of the Supreme Lord can enable people of all the lower classes to attain the highest perfection of life. This is possible only when one takes shelter of Krishna. As indicated here by the word Vyapashritya, one has to take shelter completely of Krishna. Then one can become much greater than great Jnanis and Yogis. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yenam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. O son of Pruta, those who take shelter in me, though they may be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. Looks like somebody flicked a sloka to get me cancelled in this culture. In this modern age, there is so much talk about, the equality and diversity and inclusion, and so much misconception about what our Shastras are actually saying. I will start with quoting from some very scientific objective facts about what our Shastras are really saying and what do they really mean. Right? So we all reading Bhagavad Gita. Right? If somebody says, which are our most important scriptures, what would come to mind? Can some of you please say out a few important scriptures? Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, right? If you want to go more philosophical and very very sophisticated philosophy, maybe the 4 Vedas, the Vedanta. Who compiled majority of these scriptures? Vyasadeva, Veda Vyasa, right? Now, if you go by these, terms of which Varna he came from, right? Anybody knows what was Veda Vyasa's Varna? Yeah. Technically, you would be considered he was born in a Shudra family. Our greatest compiler of our biggest Shastras is so-called born in a Shudra family. Which religion has this? Can somebody tell me? Any religion has that? I'm just asking a very simple question. Does any religion have that? Krishna actually says in the Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnam Maya Srushtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. He's telling that the society in general is organized into 4 Varnas. Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. The Vibhagashaha, the division, is done by Guna and Karma. What does Guna mean? Qualities of a person. What does Karma mean? Actions of a person. Right? Is there any mention of birth over there? There is no mention of birth. In fact, Srila Prabhupada used to say, this is a very scientific thing. Can anybody here is like anybody's parents or close relatives are in the judicial system, they're judges or something like that? Anybody like that here? Nobody? Let's say your father was a judge. Can you say, hey, my father is a judge, so I am also a judge. Tomorrow I am going to sit on this thing and you should all listen. Or maybe easy one I'll take. Anybody's parents here are surgeons? Or any close relative is a surgeon? My mother was a doctor. She had 4 degrees, MBBS, DMCW, DCH, MD, she had lots of degrees. So I will say, hey, my mother is a big doctor. I'm going to do surgery on you tomorrow. Anybody is here volunteering? Say, you laugh at me. What is your qualification, you'll ask me. Right? You ready to do surgery? Or no? Like, it is very absurd. Right? Now, did I have a chance to become a surgeon or a doctor? Yeah, because I could have asked my mother, she would have told, yeah, this how it works and this how these things. I would say I have a good understanding of the medical system, but I didn't have any interest in that. Right? Did I have a good chance? Yes, I did have a good chance. But I did not take to it, and so I am not a doctor. Right? So that's all the Shastras are saying. Everybody has an opportunity to take to any of the four varnas, and it is just based on guna and karma. And the Vedic society, not the society that we know of, especially in the last few hundred years, especially in Kali Yuga. It is said, what is the definition of Kali Yuga? In Kali Yuga, there are 3-4 things that will happen. It is said. A Brahmana is defined by a 2 paisa thread. How much money does it cost to buy a thread? Just a cotton thread, Right? It's one of the cheapest things. So, a Brahmana will be known by 2 paisa thread. The Shastras are telling, in Kali Yuga, this is the nature. Right? And a sannyasi is known by just a saffron color dress. How difficult is it to go buy saffron dress anyway? In fact, the unfortunate reality is there are so many people who were doing that. In fact, Srila Prabhupada himself, when he was very young, his father came from his father was owned a textile business. He had a shop in which they used to do they used to sell textiles and all that. And his father was very devotionally oriented, and he would invite a lot of sadhus to come home. Srila Prabhupada remembers that almost every other day some sadhu would come home, they would feed them nicely, and they would give them some dakshina and this. And Srila Prabhupada, when he was very young, he had observed that many of the sadhus who came to their house, later he would see them, smoking bidis and all that. And so when Prabhupada was in his younger years, he had developed a little bit of apprehension towards anybody using saffron and all that. And in fact, when his friend, his very close friend, they say like chaddi dost, right? Like very close friend, he invited him, said, hey, there is one very big sadhu called Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is giving a lecture. Let us go and meet him. Prabhupada initially said, no, I don't want to go. And later, his friend said, no, this sadhu, is actually a very genuine sadhu. You should come. And then only Prabhupada said, okay, because you are saying, because he was Prabhupada knew him to be a very nice person, and he wouldn't call somebody a very genuine sadhu. So that's how only Prabhupada accompanied him, and that's how Prabhupada met his spiritual master for the very first time. See, our Shastras are talking about very scientific, objective things. There is no question of, looking down upon something or, viewing something as, what shall we say, racist or sexist or anything like that. If you actually look at the Shastras, right? Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram. Right? Tam tam eva ishyasi saunteya. So, whatever form of life, whatever you remember at the time of death, that's what you become. In fact, in many places in the Shastras it is said, and Prabhupada used to say this, that there is a very high likelihood that those who are, men, like men means those who have, I so happen to have a body that is physically, my machine is a man machine. Right? And there are many of you here, the machine you are sitting in happens to be a woman machine. There is a very high likelihood that in my previous life, I was most likely a woman. Why is that? Because women are mostly attracted to men. That is a very normal, natural this thing. And if you are very attached to your, to your wife, and at the time of, and then if you had a very good wife who's taking care of you very nicely, this thing, you'll be thinking of her, oh, she took such good care of me, this thing at the end of time. Or, you might have a lot of attraction for women. Just because you become old, that attraction doesn't go away. That is the reality of life, right? Your body might become old, your eyes might become old, but still inside our Atma is always, they say, it's like 16-year-old. Our body might change. Body will change, not might change, will change. So it's very likely that many of us sitting here who are in man's body were women in the previous life. And many of you sitting in women's body might have been men in the previous life. So there is no sanctity to this particular machine that we have today. And it does not matter. It really does not matter. So if you think about it, in the Sanatana Dharma, we come in a Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Parampara. Especially in this age, Prabhupada was the very first Acharya who gave Brahmana Diksha to women. Right? If you see, you might have seen in our temples, Matajis or Pujaris in the altar, they're doing, worship, this thing. Have you seen this in any temple? It's very rare to see that. Because Prabhupada said, he was just quoting the Shastras. In fact, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his spiritual master, he was also very objective in these things. He gave Brahmana Diksha to people from all Varnas. See, today, I am sitting here and giving class. I was not born in a Brahminical family. At best, my father was an engineer, my mother was a doctor. But we all come from a village where agriculture was our main, this thing. At best you can call maybe Kshatriya family because we used to own a lot of land or something. Or you could also call Vaishya because we were engaged in agriculture. But, by action and by certain rules and regulations you have to follow, I was given the Brahmana Diksha about 20-30 years ago. So, also one should know, what is this Varna, what is this Brahmana, Vaishya, what is this thing? Because there is a lot of negative connotation. Right? They'll say, oh, this Hindus, caste system. They're trying to oppress the weak. But exactly the opposite. In fact, our Shastras say that a culture is known by how it takes care of its weak and the oppressed. How they take care of the young, or the very old, those who are not powerful, how they take care. That society is known by that. So Shastras are very simply objectively saying, if in a society, if you say today, American society, right? In America, is there a caste system? What do you all say? Right? They don't even know the word, I guess, so we can say that, okay, fine, there is no caste system. But are there people in America, in the American culture, who are academicians, who are interested in patan, teaching and learning. Yajan, dana, pratigraha. Right? In the Vedic system, who was called a Brahmana? A Brahmana was somebody who was only interested in these things. Patan, yajan. They are interested in teaching. Right? The Vedic society was Sanatana Dharma. There are three things, knowledge, wealth, and power. Those who were responsible for knowledge, right? I was just saying academicians, they were not supposed to have wealth or power. A classic example of this is Prabhupada used to quote Chanakya Pandit. Right? Most of you heard of Chanakya Pandit? Right? Chanakya Pandit, in his Chandragupta Maurya, right, was the person who was the king under Chanakya Pandit. This thing. Actually, if you study the history, the majority of the strategy and the making things work was all done by Chanakya Pandit. Chandragupta Maurya was the king. No? And he was not an ordinary king. He became one of those emperors that united India all the way from Afghanistan to Bangladesh. From the north to the south, from all the way from Kashmir all the way down to the, he came all the way to south, to the Vindhyas and that part of the world. Huge empire. Right? And Chanakya Pandit was actually the main power behind all of this. He is the one who crafted it. We all studied, we have seen, many of you would have seen that there was to be a very nice serial called Chanakya only thing, right? Long ago, old people will remember. So, when Chanakya Pandit was ruling, he was the prime minister. Right? But he was the prime minister. Chandragupta Maurya is the emperor. But Chandragupta Maurya, in order to take guidance from Chanakya Pandit, had to leave his palace and come to the bank of the river Ganges. And Chanakya Pandit had an ashram. And he had to come over there, offer obeisances and take guidance from him. And he used to ask him, Gurudev, you are you're so important for me. You are the one who made everything. How does it look for you to be living in a small hut like this? In a small ashram like this, in a thatched, this thing? Please come and live in the palace. And Chanakya refused. He said, if I come and live in your palace, you'll think that you've given me a place to live. Right? And then my ability to tell you, to guide you properly will go away. So it's all right. If you want, you can come here. If you don't want, no need to come also. He was not interested in ruling or being the prime minister or something. If you want to take my guidance, you can come. That is the nature of a true Brahminical culture. And as I said, in this country, there are very nice, don't we all remember our good teachers who taught us? Right? I remember when I was doing my MBA, there was one of our finance professors. He used to be a VP in Goldman Sachs. For those of you who know a little bit of financial industry, Goldman Sachs is the number one financial investment banking firm in the world. Literally the number one. If you think about the finance secretary of America, in the last whatever number of years, always the finance secretaries have come from Goldman Sachs. The head of the treasury or this thing, almost everybody is from Goldman. That's like the premier investment banking firm. He used to be a VP, a very high level. But he said, I'm not interested in this. He made enough money in these things. And he said, I want to teach. That has always been my interest. I took to this thing because I was very good. They gave me a job. I became this. But I want to teach. So he gave that up and he was coming and teaching finance. And he said, I enjoy this more than what I was doing over there. This is my natural, what I like. You see, that is what means a Brahmana. And Brahmana should not have wealth. It is said that Brahmana, if you get somebody comes and gives you, huge amount of money, $1 million somebody comes and gives you. You will only keep, what do I need for today? I need maybe $100 or $200, maybe $300 I'll need for today. Rest of it, he'll donate it away. Dana and pratigraha. He has to give dana and you can take this thing. That was they're not supposed to keep wealth. Very strictly forbidden for Brahmanas to accumulate wealth. They should not accumulate power. They cannot rule. They cannot, this thing. Like for example, when Vishwamitra went to Dashrath Maharaj and asked for, please send me Ram and Lakshman to fight Tataka and this thing, right? He came and asked. Do you think Vishwamitra didn't have the power to kill Vishwamitra didn't have the power to kill those demons? He used to be a Kshatriya himself, by the way, before he became Vishwamitra. And he was so powerful. I mean, he created one planetary system for, what is the name of that? Trishanku. He created one planet for Trishanku. Because there was a fight going on. He was trying to send him to the heavenly planets by his power of his this thing. And the heavenly planet people were saying, hey, this fellow is not qualified. Why are you trying to send him over there? They were trying to send him back. So he was up and down, he was going in. He said, why? Forget all this. I'll create a separate heavenly planet for you. And he created a planet just by his willing. That's the power of Vishnu. If you wanted, 1 second he could have just chanted a few mantras without even touching anything. He could have killed any of those demons. But that is not the position they have taken. They have taken a position of being a sage. So they will not indulge in that. That was the nature of the Vedic system. Similarly, Kshatriyas are, and by the way, Brahmanas mean they have to maintain very high standards of tapasya, sacrifice. In fact, the higher you were in the Varnas, the more stricter was your life of living. You had to live very simple life. Live in a practice. Most of the time was spent in some level of tapasya or the other. Very difficult to practice. Most of us will say, oh, this is too much for me, forget it. Right? For example, today, all of us can do PhDs. Anybody stopping us from doing PhDs? Right? How many of you have done PhDs here? Few? 1, 2, 3. Right? Is it easy to do a PhD? Here I heard, especially in India at least, they say 3 years PhD after masters. Here 5 years, 6 years, 4, depends, It's very difficult, very, very austere. And while they are studying, they are working 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, all the time in the labs and this and that. All of us have an opportunity, but very few people take up because that tapasya is difficult to do. Exactly the same way in Vedic system. Everybody has an opportunity to take up anything you want. It is just saying scientifically this is how it exists. A Kshatriya can have power, but he should not have wealth, he should not control wealth, he should not control knowledge. He has to go to a Brahmana and take guidance from him on how to rule. When there's a controversial topic, difficult topic, this thing he has to go. If he doesn't, there were people in the past in the Vedic system. There's a description of King Vena. King Vena's father was a very, very great king. Wonderful king who ruled very nicely and everything. But Kshatriyas, they were called Raja Rishis. They were Rajas, they were living in the palace, but they were also Rishis. At the age of 50 years old, typically, when they reached the Vanaprastha stage, they would leave the kingdom and go to the forest. Bharat Maharaj did this. Right? He was like the emperor of the universe. And he was not that, nowadays you see so-called politicians. Till the deathbed they will be holding on to power. Right? We are also seeing in this country also. They are not even able to stand and sit properly, but they still want to be rulers. But that is not the way the Vedic system was. The peak of his ruling, there was no enemy for Bharat Maharaj. Literally there was no enemy for him. But he gave up everything and went. King Vena's father was like that. Very nice, very big ruler, very nicely. At that right age he said, I am done with my duties. I have done my duty now. Please let me go. Let me take care of my spiritual life. And he went to the forest. It so happened, Vena, there's a whole story. I won't go to the whole story. But he was very evil-minded by his, unfortunately. And he was not a good ruler. He was troubling the innocent and the weak. He was not respecting the proper Sanatana Dharma. And so first, the assembly of sages went and met him and said, "O King Vena, your father was such a nice king. He did this, he did this, he did this. No, you should follow in his footsteps." We also, right, when children are not doing well, we say, "Hey, see your cousin is so nice. You should also be like him." Instead of telling, "You are wrong," they just said, "This is this. You should also be like this." He didn't listen. One more time, many times they tried to tell him, "Hey, do properly this thing." Not only did he not listen, he just kept increasing his atrocities. And what do you think the sages did? Anybody knows? They all got together, had a meeting, and said, "What shall we do about this problem? We have tried everything. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of our patience. The action is needed." They all sat and chanted some mantras, and King Vena died. They took the bones from his body, and from that body, his son was created, who became a very wonderful ruler. And he was put in the throne to rule. In very rare circumstances, the sages and the Brahmanas would intervene to re-establish dharma. But it's not very common. Extreme circumstances, they would do that. They were capable, but they would not. Like, we see many instances. Time is very short. So, Vaishyas could control wealth. They are meant to produce wealth. Take care of the mother nature, take care of the cows, take care of the resources of the wealth. Right? All this, ecology and all that we say, right? That is the responsibility of the Vaishyas. Because all of the wealth ultimately comes from Mother Nature. You can say whatever you want, it has to come from Mother Nature. Actually, gold also comes from gold mines. Silver comes from this thing. Today we use nickel, cadmium and all that. Where does it come from? Are they just producing? We need that for our electric vehicles and all that. We need heavy metal. Where they come from? Earth. Food, where does food come from? Comes from Mother Nature. So, the Vaishyas were supposed to produce wealth. In fact, they were supposed to produce wealth for all the remaining Varnas. Because Kshatriyas did not produce wealth. Brahmanas didn't produce wealth. They were just taking dana and pratigraha. So, they were responsible for the wealth creation for the entire society. And they were supposed to be very, very charitably oriented. Right? And they should take care of the sources of the wealth. So this was all the different this thing. Now, when we use the word Shudra itself, people are like, oh, very uncomfortable. I mean, it's just basically saying service class of people. Right? Today, in the United States of America, if anybody scientifically you go read any literature, you say, what percentage of America is the services sector? Anybody knows here? You can go look up again, you can look up the government, this thing and say, what percentage of America is services sector? Anybody knows? Almost 70% of America is services sector. So basically, the word Shudra just means services sector, that's all. Doesn't mean anything. It's not some negative connotation or anything like that. Now, why are they in the services sector? Typically in the services sector, they don't have too much of education. You will very rarely find somebody with multiple master degrees, PhD and all in the services sector. Why they will be in the services sector? They will go do this thing, right? There are no doctors or engineers and things like that in the services sector, right? So that is what a services sector means, nothing more than that. Now all of them can achieve the Supreme Lord, that's what he's telling. Why? Because this is just the body. Ultimately the only thing that matters is, are we taking to the spiritual qualifications? In fact, many places in the Shastras it is said, blessed are those whose minds are simple. Prabhupada used to quote this, it's in the Bible also. Prabhupada used to quote that and say, actually, these people are very blessed, simple mind, this thing. In fact, during Prabhupada's time also, lot of his primary disciples were Matajis, were women, who did very wonderful service to Srila Prabhupada. You see most of these paintings that you see that are wonderful paintings of Krishna, many more you will see. Most of them are done by women. They used to be big scholars. They used to edit Prabhupada's books, compile them. They were great book distributors and this thing. So many, instances are there. They were also big, Prabhupada in those days gave very responsible services to women to lead communities and things like that. So the Shastras are telling that don't be limited by the external body. External body might be in different situations, different things. All of us have an equal opportunity to know God, to practice, and to be spiritually perfect ourselves. Okay? So we'll stop with that. Just I'll take maybe one question. Anybody has any questions or comments? Yes. The Sanskrit word for woman is striyaha. You see, it is striya is there, right? Oh, okay. Why is woman birth considered a lower birth? Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. So, in many cases in the Shastras, this is more from a question of immediate spiritual ability in general, right? When you are born into a woman's machine, what is the primary role of women in the society? Right? If you think about it, a family is the primary unit of a society. If a family doesn't function properly, will the society function? It doesn't. Right? And so, a woman's role is to be the mother in the family. Right? That doesn't mean that they were not spiritually qualified. In fact, we are just like we were talking about Veda Vyasa. When we recite from the Bhagavatam is considered a very advanced study. We regularly recite Queen Kunti's prayers. And then Devahuti and her son Kapila, they have a discussion. We read about that. Woman, there are there are a lot of very, very highly qualified women who are considered as some most advanced spiritualists, and we read from them and we learn from them. But Shastras are basically telling that when you're born in a woman's body, your normal tendency is to be more, who is more loving, caring, more emotional, and this thing. Usually that's our mother, right? We usually don't remember our father being the more emotional, more tender, more this thing like that. So because of that general tendency, there are situations where that it limits the ability of that individual in that particular body to be very objective in saying, okay, because Shastras say you have to give up all of this and and this thing. It's not very easy or objective for them to apply unemotionally to situations. That is the only reason it is mentioned like that. And it just said that, but everybody can take to spiritual life. There is no distinction at all. And everybody, you can, as Srila Prabhupada himself showed, he gave Brahmana Diksha to women, which was actually unheard of in our parampara. Even to this day, there are many, some different paramparas will say, oh, your parampara, you people, women are also allowed in the temple and all that, we are not considered this thing. Prabhupada said, that's what I'm just saying what the Shastras are telling. It is not this thing at all. And ultimately, Lord Ramachandra showed us, when there was this squirrel that was trying to go and build participate in the bridge construction. And he was just, running around with the little pebbles in his mouth. You've seen squirrels? They'll put in the mouth, few pebbles here, how much, like this. And with the cheeks filled up with pebbles, he was running and going and putting into the water. And then Hanuman was taking huge boulders and was throwing into the ocean. And the squirrel was coming in the way. And Hanuman, when you are very focused on something, he said, hey, please, not that very derogate. He just said, no, and he just did like this. And then Lord Ramachandra noticed that. Right? He said that, Lord Ramachandra caught the squirrel and he chastised Lord Hanuman. Said, he is, for his capability, what he is doing is much more than what you are doing with throwing big boulders. There is a reality. Lord does not say, what are you giving? Lord says, what are you keeping to yourself? So that is the nature of this. All of us, in whatever situation we are in, does not matter, young, old, this thing does not matter. Bhava Grahi Janardana, the Lord only sees what is the mood with which we are living our lives. Bhava Grahi Janardana. So all of us can take to Krishna consciousness from all walks of life. We don't have to be born in an Indian body. You can be from any part of the world you can be. It doesn't have to be this thing. For actually, you don't even have to be a human body also. There are many instances of animals also taking to serving the Lord on this thing. Right? If you say like that, Lord Hanuman, he comes from the monkeys, this thing. But who is one of our greatest devotees? Bajrangabali. Right? So like that, our Vedic culture is very scientific and objective in these matters. Okay, we'll stop here. Grantaraj, Bhagavatam ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So we'll all chant Hare Krishna. The process for purification is same for everybody. That is chanting of the holy name. And by chanting the holy name, we'll all become qualified to understand. When our heart becomes purified, we all exhibit our true nature of the spirit soul. Okay, please repeat after me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurabhaktarunda. I forgot the Guru Pranam mantra. Let's say that also. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. We'll all chant Hare Krishna together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,